Okay, so this is the Fix TF2 poll. My email, of course, is blocked from you all. And I just figured I would share my thoughts with this because there are some questions that don't ask why you answered in a certain way that I believe should be explained. So, how effective do you think the following method would be for Fix TF2? Review bombing TF2's Steam page. I say possibly harmful because we should encourage people to enjoy and play the game, not hate on it because of problems outside of its control. It's not our fault that it's like that, and it shouldn't be made out to be. It's still a good game at its core. TF2 is still a great game at its core and still has some amazing people that play it. I don't think review bombing it is a great idea. I really don't. So next, of course, we have how effective do you think the following method would be for Fix TF2? Spreading awareness via social media and news publications. Extremely effective. News publications especially. Why did you select this answer? Make as much noise as possible. I really don't think I need to explain that. How effective do you think the following method would be for Fix TF2? Boycotting the Team Fortress 2 economy. It would be... I'm actually going to change my answer here. Possibly effective. Not as effective as the funds are a drop in the bucket, but it shows the dedication and commitment to the cause. It's more about sending a message than the action itself. We're not doing it simply for the action's sake. We're doing it as a cherry on top. Because people seem to think that by boycotting the economy that it's made out to be some big grand thing or that it actually means something. They are correct. The Doom posters are right in that one regard. Technically speaking, in the grand scheme of things, boycotting the economy doesn't really mean that much, but that's not why we're doing it. We're not doing it for the action's sake. It's a cherry on top. It's a pile on. That's how this kind of thing works. Okay. So next question, of course. How effective do you think the following method would be for Fix TF2? Boycotting Valve or Steam as a whole. Neutral/non-productive. Why do you select this answer? That becomes petty at that point. I'd be fine with it if there was an alternative to Steam, but it's basically become the Google or Apple of the gaming world. It's just where everything is. Boycotting it would be a drop in an even bigger, less meaningful bucket. I don't really need to elaborate on that any further. I just think that boycotting Valve or Steam as a whole is petty and kind of pointless, especially considering that the only way to play TF2 is on Steam. So I don't entirely know what they mean by boycott Steam. But anyways, moving on. How effective do you think the following method would be for Fix TF2? Exposing identities of bot hosters. Very effective. I'm actually going to change my answer to extremely effective. Why do you select this question? It would be striking and powerful, as that is the civil duty in most legal systems to be capable of exposing those who commit the crimes certain bot hosters have, and to expose them for who they truly are. If we were to discover that bot hosters were using TF2 servers as a means of somehow smuggling illegal digital artifacts to one another, there would be a riot, and they would have to be exposed for the sake of the criminal actions being put to a stop. It is not uncommon in most cases of some major felony, right, where... not major felony, that's kind of a redundant statement, but in a felony, if you're aware that the felony had been committed or was being committed and you do not speak up about it, you can be held liable in a court of law and face punishment as well for being silent, because there is no evidence to support you not being an accomplice in that task. And in the eyes of the law, because you didn't speak out, you might as well be an accomplice, because we can't tell what you are. There has to be plausible deniability, such as fear or shock. There has to be extenuating circumstances, and that's why stuff takes so long in a court of law. This kind of thing gets investigated extensively. How do I know this? I'm a legal transcriber. That's my day job. I transcribe legal audio for a company that my dad has founded and run for quite some time. So I'm aware to a semi-stupid degree of how the legal system works. There's like, if bot hosters were actually smuggling like actual CP to one another through TF2 somehow, like let's just say that happened. If somehow that was happening, there's grounds for a lawsuit for on Valve for not figuring this out sooner and not putting a stop to it. And the bot hosters would have to be found, swatted, investigated, possibly put in prison for a very long time. Like, this kind of thing is a very serious thing. And I personally believe that exposing identities of bot hosters in general has always been a good idea. Not necessarily like full-on doxing them or swatting them like what they have done, but showing who those people are and that these are the people who actually are willing to do some pretty heinous things, as proven in the, I believe it was the What Shows video, where they swatted Mega Scatterbomb and made it seem like he had threatened to put a bomb in his university. Like, that is a felony in, like, any country with half a brain. Okay, that's certainly a felony here in America. That's prison for a very, very long time. And the fact that he wasn't put in jail and was actually is actually having this sorted through with the police in New Zealand is wonderful. Like, props to him for that. So I definitely think exposing the identity of bot hosters would be a tremendous asset to the Fix TF2 movement as a whole, and also to stop them from hosting in general. It would be a leverage point against them. How effective do you think the following method would be for Fix TF2? Creating a petition and physically delivering the names of those who signed to Valve HQ. Extremely effective. Dedication at its core. If you believe in something strongly enough, you sign your name to it, and you'd better make damn sure that the people who need to see it read it well. You have to stick to your guns, and physically delivering a petition to Valve would be as physical of a manifestation of our dedication to making sure that our favorite game runs well as possible. It really doesn't get any more dedicated than that. It honestly can't. How likely do you think it is that Valve responds to Fix TF2? I think maybe. Possibly likely, but I'm sticking with maybe because at this point, it's difficult to tell. How likely are you to participate in Fix TF2? Extremely likely, as is obvious from my, recent videos and stuff. Why did you select this answer? Happiness has to be fought for. The running theme in myhouse.wad, the Doom wad that came out about a year ago. Just happiness has to be fought for. There's no other way to put it. It simply must be fought for. Our satisfaction, the game's health, the player base, it all has to be fought for. Happiness has to be fought for. So this movement is I must have hope. Not because I'm like insecure if I don't have it, but for hope's sake itself, I must have hope. How much do you agree with the following statement? The first Save TF2 was too soft on Valve. It was too focused on positivity. Heavily agree. Heavily agree. It was not angry enough. I was confused as to how it wasn't more stridently, pushing around, like trying to actually get something going, How much do you agree with the following statement? The first Save TF2 was focused too much on YouTubers. They received too much of the attention. Heavily agree. And this is something that I'm actually trying to deliver to other YouTubers, is this open letter where there's too much of a disconnect between the YouTubers and the actual fan base, and where it's kind of this aristocracy where the YouTubers represent the people not enough and represent themselves too much, and they don't interact with the community enough within their own channels, Discord servers, and even within community servers like the actual Fix TF2 Discord server that I'm a part of. I think that the YouTubers have too much of a disconnect with the fan base, and that if they engaged with them more, it would display more dedication to the cause from a more humanly emotional satisfaction element, I suppose. How much do you agree with the following statement? The first Save TF2 put too little focus on the bot problem. It was hard to tell what the movement was about. I agree. Not heavily agree, but I agree, because I can't. Sometimes I genuinely couldn't tell. At the first time around, I was like, oh, are we addressing the bot crisis, or are we addressing the fact that the game is imbalanced and broken and a buggy mess sometimes? Like, what exactly is going on? Do we want competitive mode to be, revamped and actually brought back in properly? Do we want quick play to come back? What exactly are we going for here? And I never really got a clear answer on that. And how much do you agree with the following statement? The first Save TF2 was a failure. I'm neutral because I don't agree. I don't disagree, but I really don't agree with that statement because it caught the attention of Valve. It marginally did something. Like, the Doom posters and the nihilists can complain as much as they want, but it actually did something. We received the attention of the mass media. We received the attention of Valve, even if they didn't do anything. It shows that you can be listened to if you're loud and proud enough. You just have to be more organized about it. And that's why Save TF2, in one sense, failed, because it was completely disorganized. And it was more so a collaborative stunt of YouTubers. It did not represent the community itself well enough because, A, it lacked organization, proper organization. B, it lacked, obviously, a clear-cut goal. It wasn't focused on one specific issue like the bot crisis. And all in all, it was hoisted too much by the same 5 or 10 guys on YouTube. And it just was very much the aristocracy again, where the YouTubers said a thing and everyone was basically their yes man, and they just did their part and liked and retweeted, and that was it. And it needed to be more, and that's what I'm really hoping that this Fix TF2 movement actually learns from it, is that it can't be so disorganized. It has to be more unified among everyone, the popular and the non-popular. There has to be a mesh. There has to be some level of communication, some common ground, some, baseline meeting place for everyone to just be equals. And I'm going to expand on this, more in later videos, but there has to be an essence of equality in this, and that was not there the first time, and I'm beginning to see it again in this time around, and I really don't want that to happen, because we're gonna look really stupid if that's the reason for it flopping, if it flops, So with that, I will submit the form. And I'm not going to submit it because I think it would bounce back and show my email. But, yeah. This is my very briefly summarized views on the Fix TF2 movement. And y'all know what to do. Fix TF2, Save TF2, kill all bots. I'll see you later.